Now at 6 and streaming on crossroadstoday.com, the latest on rescue efforts in the Texas Hill Country as the death toll climbs higher.
And disaster relief legislation failed in the Texas Senate prior to flooding. Now lawmakers face the pressure to respond.
Plus, a Texas A&M leader talks about what the move to a new system will look like for students.
And I'm live here at Aztec Ford in Goliad to talk about the Storm Ready Power Giveaway sponsored by Aztec Ford in Goliad. And we're also going to talk about those rain chances coming up.
And Industrial Softball is ready to be in the state tournament this Friday night. We'll hear from some of the athletes later on.
You're watching 25 News now at 6. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Shauna Curry.
And I'm Trenton Whiting, in for Don Brubaker.
Well, at least 110 people have died after floodwaters swept through central Texas on Friday. Many remain missing as widespread search and rescue efforts press on.
Yes, Lee Waldman has been in hard-hit areas like Kerrville for several days and brings us the latest.
Frustration over unanswered questions after hearing from local officials here in Kerr County, not offering a clear picture of when the emergency manager in this area was notified about the floodwater, and now learning new information that the sheriff wasn't told until around 4 or 5 a.m. That's hours after that first notification was given about an incoming flood. After days of battling tough search conditions, determination to find every last missing person in the Texas floodwater persists.
I can assure you we will not stop until this mission is complete.
In hard-hit Hunt, Texas, Christian Fell and his family are clearing feet of mud from their home, the home that nearly trapped him in rapidly rising water Friday morning.
When I opened the door, all this water started flooding back in, and I couldn't walk outside because it was like so powerful. I couldn't close the door.
Fell went into his bedroom, trying to get on furniture that was already floating above his head to no avail.
I tried to open up this door, but the door wouldn't open. And then that's when I saw that this window right here was broken, and I swam through it.
In the darkness, surrounded by water, he climbed up to this electrical meter. Fell stayed there waiting for help for 3 hours. He says there was no warning ahead of time.
Didn't have any alerts until the water was already like inside the house.
Across the Guadalupe River from Fell's home is Camp La Junta. Kelly Rabone's son, Braden and Brock, were saved from the rising water by their camp counselors.
Once the water came into his cabin, they moved the boys from their lower bunks to then the upper bunk, and then ultimately hoisted them up into the rafters.
Now, days removed from when this disaster actually struck, we are not hearing from officials about how many people are actually missing, but we are learning heartbreaking information that the last live rescue that happened was on Friday. In Kerrville, I'm Lee Waldman.
A bill meant to boost Texas's disaster response fell short in the state Senate. That was just months before this devastating flash floods hit Kerr County. The plan would have created a statewide response system, added grants for rural areas, and even set up new warning tools like outdoor sirens and alerts. It passed the House, but got held up in the Senate over its $500 million price tag. Some Republican lawmakers said it simply cost too much for what it offered. Now, with more than 100 lives lost, there are tough questions about whether more could have been done and whether this bill might get another look.
There's been a massive show of support in the Texas Hill Country, including help from across the border. A team of first responders from Mexico is now assisting in the aftermath of the deadly flooding. There are emergency crews from Coahuila, just across the border from Del Rio, including members of the Fundación 911 organization. The group of 13 is taking part in search and rescue efforts, bringing help and hope to families still searching for loved ones. They say their mission transcends borders, fueled by compassion, not country. The U.S. ambassador to Mexico publicly thanked the team for their support.
Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton has issued a consumer alert warning residents to stay vigilant against fraud and charity scams in the wake of these devastating flooding across Texas. To read the full story, go to crossroadstoday.com.
Well, so here locally, the Guadalupe River is cresting in Victoria, and we've seen rain most of the afternoon so far.
Yeah, quite a bit of rain here
Absolutely.
locally, but luckily nothing to cause any further flooding as far as we know. Meteorologist Jacob Lozano is live in Goliad with a first look at our forecast. Jacob?
How's it going, Crossroads? I'm live here at Aztec Ford in Goliad for the Storm Ready Power Giveaway, where you have a chance to win this generator right here to my left. Now, what I want you to do right now is grab your phone or your laptop, go to crossroadstoday.com, click on the menu, and from the drop-down menu, you can go ahead and click on Entertainment. Then you can click on Contests, and there you can find the link to the Storm Ready Power Giveaway, so you can enter this contest. Now, the deadline here is June 10th, so there is a little limited amount of time left. But let's go ahead and talk about the radar right now. We saw lots of rain today. We're still looking at some shower activity just around the northern area, right around Wharton area. But the shower activity is looking like it's going to be continuing for us here tomorrow, but we'll be talking about that coming up in the full weather report. Guys, back to you at the desk.
Well, thank you, Jacob, and that leads us nicely to our viewer poll for this evening. We ask you, do you own a backup power generator at home? Yes, no, or you're hoping to win one in our Storm Ready giveaway. It's pretty even between yes or no. 45% of our voters saying no, 43% saying yes, and hopefully we don't have any storms to deal with this year, but it could be a good backup, especially for those of you who are taking part in our little competition contest.
If only we were eligible to be entering as well.
Exactly. But we still want to hear from you, so go ahead and visit crossroadstoday.com/vote to take part. We'll have the latest results at 10.
In other news, with the change for the University of Houston Victoria to Texas A&M Victoria less than 2 months away, we caught up with Dr. Jim Nelson, Associate Vice Chancellor of Academic Affairs, to find out what the transition really means for students. He says the name will change, but the student experience will not. Things like degree plans and campus traditions will stay intact. It's a major shift with the goal of expanding opportunities without losing what makes UHV unique.
The biggest thing they're going to see is just a name change. You know, we're starting the semester 1 week later than would normally be, just so students are enrolling with Texas A&M Victoria. They don't have that kind of transition that rolls into it. Other than that, and probably wearing a different school t-shirt, they're not going to see much change. The classes will be continuing on. The faculty is going to be the same. Tuition costs will be the same as they were. There's going to be, from the student's perspective, other than the name change and the affiliation, there's really going to be very little difference.
Dr. Nelson hopes to grow enrollment and expand opportunities for students, especially within local industries. He also says bringing engineering programs to the region was a key driving factor behind this transition. You can see the full interview with him at crossroadstoday.com.
Well, as students get ready to go back to school, a generous donation is helping some Victoria ISD students go back dressed for success. The group of at-risk youth were treated to a clothing shopping spree by the Salvation Army, thanks to grant funds of more than $8,200 from Sparklight Broadband, Formosa, Frost Bank, American Legion No. 166, and Trinity Lutheran. Captain Kenny Jones with the Salvation Army Victoria says this event helps students get started on the right track.
They took on 50 children out of the 100 children that we were going to have this shopping spree at Walmart with. So that amounted for almost $4,000 in donation to go towards the purchase of clothing for the children.
Victoria students return to school on Wednesday, August 13th.
Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell to receive alerts. Stay with us. Coming up on 25 News Now at 6, the Trump cabinet meets amid flood fallout and global pressure, what they're saying about trade and Texas.
Also find out what major international award President Trump has been nominated for by another world leader. Welcome back. Immigration advocates and whistleblowers say there's tangible fallout after the closure of 3 DHS oversight offices. These offices were created by Congress to investigate civil rights complaints and monitor immigration agencies. But 3 months ago, Secretary Kristi Noem shut them down, reducing staff from hundreds to just a dozen. Critics say the move gutted an already fragile accountability system, leaving fewer safeguards in place. At the same time, DHS is opening new detention sites, including one in the Florida Everglades nicknamed Alligator Alcatraz. Advocates warned that without oversight, reports of abuse, medical neglect, and inhumane conditions may go unchecked. President Donald Trump convened a meeting of his cabinet today. Tariffs and his administration's Texas flood response dominated the conversation.
Karen Kafa reports from Washington.
This was the 6th cabinet meeting of President Donald Trump's second term, and he likes to keep the cameras rolling for these. Key members of the administration talking up their trade policy after the president extended a key tariff deadline and defending their responses to the deadly floods in Texas. This week was supposed to offer more clarity in Trump's global trade war. Initially, the White House set Wednesday, July 9th as its deadline for countries to negotiate better terms for the so-called reciprocal tariffs Trump has slapped on dozens of countries. Instead, Trump on Monday signed an executive action extending that deadline to August 1st, but he insisted there will be no further extensions.
August 1st, they pay. And everybody pays, everybody has to pay, and the incentive is that they have the right to deal in the United States.
Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said tariffs have generated about $100 billion in income for the U.S. so far this year, but said that number could triple by year's end. Cabinet members are also defending their responses to the devastating floods in Texas amid criticism that federal staffing cuts to the National Weather Service and other agencies impaired forecasting abilities ahead of the tragedy. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem said a streamlined disaster relief approach taken by the Federal Emergency Management Agency has been more effective than past disaster responses.
We're still there in presence, and FEMA's been deployed, and we're cutting through the paperwork of the old FEMA, streamlining it much like your vision of how FEMA should operate, and it's been a much better response to help these families.
Trump also rather bluntly told reporters he's not happy with Russian President Vladimir Putin amid that country's extended war with Ukraine. This as members of Trump's national security team were hashing out details for shipping more weapons to Ukraine. This was a bit of a turnabout after last week when the White House said there would be a pause in those weapon shipments. Trump said Tuesday he didn't know who ordered that pause. In Washington, I'm Karen Kafa.
At a White House dinner Monday night, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu nominated President Trump for the Nobel Peace Prize. He praised Trump for brokering the Abraham Accords and forging peace across the region. Trump called the gesture, quote, very meaningful, and later told reporters, quote, I'm stopping wars. The dinner included top U.S. officials, including Marco Rubio and John Ratcliffe. Pakistan also recently backed Trump for the prize, citing his diplomatic role during heightened tensions with India.
And I'm live here at Aztec Ford in Goliad, where I'll be talking with Josh Gutierrez, the sales manager here at the dealership, as well as the rainfall that we could be seeing tomorrow. Well, I'm live here at Aztec Ford in Goliad to talk about the Storm Ready Power Giveaway, where you have a chance to win this generator right here to my left. But let's go ahead and just talk about the radar right now. We saw a lot of shower activity as well as some lightning dealing with that system. And some of that lightning could have caused power outages. So we could, if you're looking for a generator, now's the time to go and enter for a contest for that. But other than that, the shower activity has begun to dissipate here in the crossroads as well as around the Palacios and Wharton area, where we saw lots of heavy rainfall here in the afternoon time for the region. Now it is dissipating, but we are going to see some re-strengthening here as we head into tomorrow with these daytime heating showers. Now, rainfall totals we'll be seeing, or that we saw today, were around 3.5 here in Victoria County. South of Edna saw close to 2 inches there, as well as areas around Bay City saw right around that 2-inch area. So 1 to 3 inches was about the average rainfall that had fallen here in the crossroads, and we're still going to see a continuation of rain tomorrow from this mid-upper level low in the Gulf that has been slowly creeping towards the Texas coastline. Now, this is non-tropical system, so there's no need to worry about any of that tropical criteria with it, but we are still looking at some shower activity currently heading towards Refugio and Goliad right now, but we're going to see that continuation here start to dissipate here. The flood warnings that were around the Hallettsville area and north of Karnes City have dissipated here, but we still have that flood warning here for Friday at 6:30 a.m. for the river there down towards the Bloomington area, and that's going to be just in relation to the flooding in Seguin. Starting to see some of that activity there in Victoria, as well as starting to pick up there around the Bloomington area. Now, showers tomorrow we're going to see showers dissipate here in the evening, afternoon time once the sun begins to set here. But the shower activity tomorrow will be picking up once again here right around the morning time with some possible light showers. But they will once again enhance with the daytime heating like we saw today here. And the shower activity is going to be pretty prominent. We could see 1 to 2 inches isolated in certain areas, relatively scattered by 3 p.m. as well as by 6 p.m. We'll start to see that begin to dissipate here for us here in the crossroads. And it's going to be kind of similar to what we saw today, just not as significant, because the energy in the atmosphere was very high today. So we saw a lot more shower activity, but it's going to be relatively a lot less here in our atmosphere for tomorrow. So still going to be seeing the shower activity, though, in our forecast. But for the next 24 hours, still going to see roughly about an inch, a little bit less than that here around the crossroads. Lots of heavier stuff is going to be well north, right around the Houston area. But if we go 48 hours out, we will start to see more shower activity here for Thursday, which we're going to continue to monitor and watch here as we head through tomorrow. Now, Victoria, isolated showers for tomorrow. Mid-upper 80s is what we're seeing as the high, with southerly winds at about 10 miles per hour. As well as Cuero and Port Lavaca, we're going to be seeing 91 degrees with that same shower activity possible here, but relatively partly cloudy to mostly cloudy skies in the area, as well as Cuero. 77 scattered showers in the afternoon time from the sunny conditions here for us, but 90 degrees it will be the high. But for the next 7 days, 40% tomorrow. We're still going to be seeing that shower activity, though, Thursday, Friday, as well as Saturday and Sunday. But Saharan dust is also on the way for the crossroads, but relatively we're going to be staying within the mid-low 90s for us here, so right around the average temperature. But winds will start to pick up here this weekend as well with all of the shower activity that we're expecting here for Saturday and Sunday. Well, guys, I'm also out here live at Aztec Ford in Goliad to talk about the Storm Ready Power Giveaway. We got a generator here that we're giving away, as well as Josh Gutierrez, the sales manager here. Josh, it's great seeing you again. We're super excited because July 10th is the last day to register at 11:59 to win this generator. Now, Josh, why is it so important, do you think, that someone should have a generator?
Yeah, I believe that first of all, it's just a small token of giving back to the community that we serve. At the end of the day, here at Aztec Ford, we want to put our customers first, and especially in peak season of hurricane season coming up. I think this is going to be and benefit most customers the most.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can totally agree with that. And now, guys, we have a little bit of time left. It's July 8th. July 10th is coming around the corner. We're going to announce the winner here July 11th. So what I want you to do is go to crossroadstoday.com, click on the menu when you go to the website, click on entertainment when the menu drops down, and when you click on entertainment, it'll take you to another drop down where you can enter for contests. And from contests, you can click on the Storm Ready Power Giveaway. We wish you the best of luck here at Aztec Ford in Goliad, where we're currently live right now. So go ahead and enter there. We have till July 11th. Like I said, July 11th we'll announce the winner, but July 10th is when the deadline is at 11:59. So time is running out, and we're very excited to announce the winner. Right, Josh?
Of course.
Awesome. Well, guys, we're going to be sending it back to you there down at the station.
And July 10th and 11th sounds so far away, but
I know.
today's the 8th.
Yeah.
So you have 2 days to enter, and
Thursday.
then we'll announce a winner on Friday, 3 days. So get those entries in.
Yeah, I'm getting excited.
So well, now let's send it over to Max Williams with some big sports news.
Yeah, Shauna, right. Again, just keep in mind, like I said, you want to get that generator, just get the Crossroads today, like Jacob said. But in the sports department, right, Victoria Northeast, they made some big news out there in the field earlier today. Find out what happened coming up in sports. Last week, Industrial Minor girls softball team, they won the sectional championship over Refugio County. They're 4-3. Now they get to focus their attention to the state tournament. It's going to start this Friday night at 8 p.m. in Rosenberg. So before the team makes their trip out this Friday, 25 News Now sports reporter Ray Robinson caught up with Industrial to see how the team is preparing for state.
Little League softball here in the Crossroads is warming up. It starts off with our friends in Vanderbilt. The Industrial Cobras softball is beginning tournament state play. This program is no stranger to the bright lights. Even with their young athletes, they aren't intimidated by the big stage at all. Even those experiencing their first time in the tournament is eager for the tough competition.
I'm looking forward just to trying our best, trying to bring us far. I'm looking forward to bringing home the state title and all of us having fun and sticking together as a team.
The drive to be the best will drive these young ladies to continue to dream big. They want to make history in their area, all while having fun at the same time.
I'm looking forward to being the first industrial minor team to win state and just to have a really good time with everyone.
I'm looking forward for all of us to have fun. Kenzie said, bringing home the state title and being the first minor team in Industrial to win state.
Ray Robinson, KAVU TV 25 News Now, Sports.
All right, thanks. Right now, back over to Victoria Northeast Little League, where they battled for the Texas East State Championship over Channelview earlier today out there in Richmond, Texas. And Northeast, they would get the win 5-2, and now they get to advance 2 regionals. That's going to start there on July 18th there for Victoria Northeast. It'll be in Seguin. It'll be at 8 p.m. They're going to wait to see who they're going to face. The winner of Texas West or Arkansas will be the opponent there for Victoria Northeast there next week. How about the Cuero Track Select Club? They're making noise out there on the track again. They have a good amount of athletes that are going to be competing for the 2025 TAF Summer Games, just like last season out there in Brownsville. Now, they're still waiting to select some of the names, though, for the events going on this month. So we're going to hear from maybe a couple of the athletes later on for our 25 News Now Sportscast at 10 p.m. Over to the Victoria Generals, who are back in action after their 5-3 victory over the Kane Cutters. Again, that was on Brother Gary Moses night, right? So maybe a little momentum going in, right? But they're going to be on the road. They're facing the Gumbo Gators. That first pitch will be in about 35 minutes time at 7:05 p.m. And then finally, some big news from the NBA, where Dallas Mavericks star Anthony Davis, he underwent a procedure today to repair a detached retina that it was suffered there during his eye from the 2024-2025 season. So he's going to get surgery, but he should be back in time for training camp there for the Dallas Mavericks over this summer. And that's going to do it here in sports. Trenton and Shauna, back to you.
Thank you, Max. So we're back in a moment, but first, tradition, thrills, and a few close calls. What happened at one of the most well-known festivals in the world? The first running of the bulls kicked off yesterday in Spain. 6 bulls charged through Pamplona's narrow streets in just 2 minutes and 37 seconds.
Those are some big bulls.
Oh, that's scary. Hundreds of runners dressed in the traditional white outfits with red neckerchiefs sprinted ahead of the powerful animals, and today a man was gored. Oh my gosh, and 6 others were lightly injured during the second running of the bulls. Thousands of tourists come every year from all over the world for the week-long festival. They watch these runners race through the course, chased by fighting bulls and steers. Oh, so we're doing that, right? Y'all are down? You want to head over there? They still
bucket
gotta-
list.
Trent, no.
Yeah, why not? That looks fun. Yeah, is that just me?
I would want to get out of the way. That would be me.
I'd be one of those people that stands up against the wall and just lets the bulls pass by.
Absolutely. That's hilarious. Oh my goodness. Well, it seems like we got time to check back in with Jacob Lozano there in Goliad one last time to tell us about the giveaway and a little bit of a last look at the weather. So, Jacob.
Well, Crossroads, we have a couple days left. June 10th is the deadline to register for the Storm Ready Power Giveaway sponsored by Aztec Ford in Goliad. We are currently live here, and here's the generator that you could win. What I want you to do is go to menu in crossroadstoday.com, click on that menu, and then go to entertainment, then contest, and then from contest you can go to the Storm Ready Power Giveaway link and enter all your information there. So time's running out. We will announce the winner July 11th. But looking at the next 7 days, well, as of right now, we are looking at a couple showers here around Goliad that we're currently seeing live here. But 40% chance of rain here for tomorrow, as well as some Saharan dust will be rolling in here by tomorrow as well, later in the afternoon time. But Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we're still looking at rain chances with a little bit more shower activity for Saturday and Sunday specifically. But we're going to continue to watch as temperatures will remain in the 90s. Guys, we're sending it back to you.
All right, definitely nice to have a lot of this rainfall, not being dry going into the summer months, but we're not drying up at all.
No, definitely not. But thank you so much for joining us tonight.
We'll see you back here tonight for 25 News Now at 10. Until then, have a great evening.